Okay, all right. What's up? We're live. Got to let it breathe just for a moment here. Kick on the Book of Faces. Kick on IG. Bada bing, bada bang. We're good. Welcome in, everybody. This is the Mile High Huddle podcast, doing a little bit later show tonight. I'm your host, Chad Jensen, and Zack Kelberman should be joining us here in the very near future, but we're here to react further to the schedule. The Broncos, of course, last night dropped the schedule. I mean, the NFL release, of course, about 6 p.m. Mountain Time. And we had a nice, convenient leak of the full schedule from, what's his name, Aussie NFL on X. And that dude's leaks have so far turned out to be correct on multiple fronts relative to the schedule. So we started analyzing that bad boy a few hours before it became official. But I'm curious. We're going to get into it while we're waiting on Zach. I want to know how you guys are feeling about it, because the word on the street is the Broncos are actually really happy with how the schedule shook out. Sam Bam's jumping in early before we even went live here. Much love and respect, big dog. Saying, evening, Chad, Zach, and Scott. Well, the schedule's out. Looks pretty good to me. Standalone games for primetime and five standalone games, for primetime and a week 12 bye. I'll likely be going to the game in Houston on November 2nd, 11-6 with the playoffs. Go Broncos. 11-6, man. That would be one heck of a season. Very interesting. I'm going to see about pulling it up real quick in the event we want to do a little scratch and sniff. So I'll have that ready here in a second. But yeah, I mean, there are rumors, not rumors, but purportedly the Broncos, because they have an international game week 6 at the Jets in London, forewent. I don't know. Is that a word? They opted to forego. There we go. Their opportunity anyway to have their bye immediately following the international game, because apparently they wanted it a little bit later. So they're basically going to be gone from home for a couple weeks. They go week 5 to take on the world champs, the defending world champ Eagles, East Coast, early start game. Kind of curious at that one with the Fangio vibes and whatnot. Kind of curious that one wasn't made a primetime game. But either way, East Coast, and then they got to keep going across the pond. I don't imagine they come home after that game. I imagine they keep going for the Jets. Then they come home, and it's the Giants. Papa Bear, what's up, brother? Great to see you, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Thank you for the super chat. It says, good evening, Broncos country. Chad, Zach, Deacon Scott. Hashtag 13-4. God bless the USA. Let's go, Bo. MHH for life. Buckham times 3. Broncos for life. So we've got an 11-6 from Sam Bam. We've got a 13-4 from the Papa Bear. Victor jumping in. Let's see what he says. Thank you for the super chat, my dog. He says, good afternoon, evening, Chad, Zach, and Scott. Again, Zach should be coming in any moment. I hope all of Broncos country is having a good week. Looking forward to kicking the season off at home. I say 13-4, like David, MHH for life. Go Bo Broncos. Very interesting. Yeah, it's a pretty soft early start, right? You're taking on not only the worst finishing team in the NFL last year, but that same team with go ahead, Scott, with a rookie quarterback. And I can't remember the statistic off the top of my head, but put it this way. Rookie quarterbacks making their first career start in week 1 have a horrendous record, including Bo Nix. Bo Nix lost his. And so the Broncos get the Titans week 1 at home. That's nice. The Colts, you don't want to sleep on the Colts too much, but it doesn't really scare you, right? It's the Colts. The Broncos last year, it took a little bit of fortune smiling upon them to fully vanquish in terms of Jonathan Taylor dropping the ball on the goal line, which swung momentum, because up to that point, if you guys recall, Anthony Richardson and the Colts kind of had the Broncos on the ropes. Bo Nix got off to a slow start, but then that swung momentum, and Bo Nix battled back, and then you had the Nick Bonito score, which was awesome. All right, so not the worst first 2 games. Then, though, it's 2 games, so home, easier opponent relatively, but then you're going on the road back-to-back weeks. Colts then going out to play Justin Herbert and Jim Harbaugh, who swept you last year, let us not forget. in week 3. Then you come home and you hope for a little revenge on Monday Night Football against Joe Burrow and the Bengals. But don't forget, they have a little bit of a revenge stake in this one too. And Joe Burrow, if you give him any additional motivation or I guess stake, yeah, he's gonna because remember, the Broncos, by defeating the Chiefs backups in week 18, that not only punched their ticket to the playoffs, but that was like the final dagger for the Bengals, 86 and them. Naj, what is up, big dog? Great to see you. Thank you for the super chat. Says, brother, the road to the Super Bowl begins. Looking forward to being in town for the meet and greet. Yes, so we will have some information on that. We'll start talking the date on Sunday night show for the MHH pod. We'll start getting into the dates. I'm still discussing it and scheduling with some of the guys because we want to try and get as many of the pod hosts out as possible to make it for that. And as you guys know, not all of them live in Denver. So week 1, and that's the thing, Scott, if you throw the schedule back up, if you look at the schedule, I prefer to do these meet and greets as early in the first quarter of the season as possible, but I don't want to do week 1. So you look at the schedule and you go, okay, well, your next opportunity then is Bengals, but I don't want to do a Monday night game. I'd rather not do a Monday game. If that was a Sunday night game, then it would make sense because it's already tough enough for people who are flying in from all over to come to the meet and greet, including y'all, including our fans, is what I'm mainly thinking of here. And then, you got to get home, be back at work in many cases the next day. I mean, I talk to a lot of you that show up and then hang out for a bit, go to the game, and I hear from you that, yeah, I'm flying out on the red eye tonight because I got to work at 10 a.m. tomorrow or whatever. So I don't want to compound that by doing a Monday night game. So then you look, it's probably Giants or Cowboys. And if you're going to pick either of those two, you're starting to creep into October. And of those two matchups, I like the Cowboys one as being slightly more juicy. Giants, we'll see exactly what becomes of that team this year. But so this is me kind of thinking out loud, but I don't know. I'm thinking those either week 7, week 8, which is, I don't have the date right in front of me. I should probably pull one up that has the dates, but 10/19, 10/26. So October 19th, October 26th, we did the meet and greet in October recently, and we were very lucky to get good weather. You don't really have to start worrying too much about the weather in the Rockies till you get to November, but it is the Rockies. So that's one of the hallmarks is the weather changes on a dime, and it's hard to predict. Benji Clay, what's up, brother? Jumping in with the super chat saying, bright side, Eagles have a gauntlet before facing us, but the Chiefs are coming off a bye for our first matchup. Got to get to that first Chiefs game healthy. Hold on one sec. I'm just finding out from Zach that he's having a login thing. 1 second. It'll only take a fraction of a second. I just got to send this to him real quick. Sorry about that, guys. StreamYard started acting oddly yesterday, so he should be in any second. But yeah, got to get to that first Chiefs game. Pardon me, healthy. Yes, and I don't like that. I don't like the way the NFL kind of favored the Chiefs in this particular relative to the Broncos, because they get them not only coming off a bye, but then also the game they host is on Christmas on a short week. It's like, ugh, that's tough, man. That's a tough row to hoe for a team like the Broncos. I mean, Arrowhead's tough for any team to win in, but for a team like the Broncos that has not won there since literally week 2 of the 2015 season. But hey, if you're Sean Payton and the Broncos, what are you saying to the team? You're saying, hey, so what? No one's going to cry for us. This is the schedule. We're going to go out and we're going to take it as it comes. And, we're not going to cry about it. We're going to do our part. We're going to kick some butt. So anyway, we'll see. I'm excited about the way it's mostly shaken up here. And there's my part, Zack Kelberman in the house. We had a StreamYard issue here. It looks like that.
My apologies to everyone, you included, Chad. I want to rant about StreamYard right now, technology in general, but I'll save my energy for the schedule topic tonight.
Yeah, without boring everybody, StreamYard started acting up yesterday, changing a bunch of stuff, logging people out, and it was
Trying to
hard to know
do
who was
something.
logged in, who was logged out. So, anyway, Ron, good evening, Chad and Zach on the MHH podcast, Go Bo Broncos. So, before we get to the next one here, Mr. Producer, let me get Zach's gut reaction here. You've now, Zach, had a day and a half or so. I mean, the official release was at 6 yesterday, but we've all known about the leak since like lunchtime yesterday, maybe even earlier. But how are you feeling about this Denver Broncos 2025 regular season sketch?
I think it's pretty good, Chad. The bye week came at a fortuitous time later in the season. I know a lot of fans don't like the Week 12 bye, but I think Sean Payton prefers that. They got a really easy matchup in Week 1 against a rookie quarterback and a rebuilding Titans team. An easy matchup in Week 2 against the Colts as well. That stretch, though, weeks 3 through 6, that gauntlet is going to be the most difficult run for them. If they can go 2-2, that'd be great. If they can go 3-1, that'd be even better. But I like how they interchange home games and away games. I know they have a lot of travel miles, but I think it broke in the Broncos' favor for the most part, Chad.
I wonder why Sean Payton opted, Zach, to forego the traditional NFL, given the team that has the week 7, or let's see, yeah, so it would have been a week 7 bye coming out of London. And he said, nah, we want the week 12. That to me, I want your take. That to me is a head coach going, all right, what's more fortuitous for a team fully expecting to be in the hunt down the stretch? Do you want to deal with a little bit of jet lag against a team like the Giants? Or, he might not have known who that option would have been, though, in week 7, but nevertheless. Or do you want to have a little bit later in the season where it can perhaps be more of an advantage, more of a blessing, so to speak, for a stretch run?
Yeah, I mean, they're coming off the bye and they're going to face the Commanders. I mean, on Sunday Night Football, Chad. That I like the fact that they'll have a little bit of rest, like you said, for that. And again, Sean Payton, I think, prefers to have that little boost later in the season and not get the bye week over with early on and then have 10 games in a row. It's pretty tough physically.
That it is. We're going to grab the Lady D here, who is jumping in with a very generous super chat. And again, guys, thank you so much for hanging tight with us on a later episode. The later thing was my fault, so to speak, because my 14-year-old daughter had her junior high graduation tonight at our go time, our normal go time at 6. So can't miss that. So I'm like, but Zach and I were really hankering to talk about the schedule. So instead of going, hey, Zach, you want to go solo tonight? I'm like, no, let's just kick it back an hour. And Zach was down. So that's the explanation. Lady D, so great to see you. She says, hi, Chad. Thank you for the amazing jersey. She wanted when the last jersey that she won, or the last jersey, whatever, the jersey she won, she wanted a Zach Allen jersey. Well, it was hard to find them. And even the ones I ended up having to do one of those where you make your own jersey through the Denver Broncos fan store. And it had a massive lead time for some reason after the order, which it didn't tell you beforehand. But I don't know. Deanna knows, took like, just from when I ordered it, it took like a month, 6 weeks. So I'm glad it finally got to you. She says, I say 12-5, Broncos win the division and go for the Super Bowl. Super excited for this year. MHH for live, Zach.
Thank you so much, Deanna, as always, for blessing us with your presence. And that's actually a tweet I put out yesterday when I saw the schedule. I said the Broncos are winning at least 12 games this season. And if they do, they go 12-5, 13-4, which I think is their ceiling. There is no reason why, Chad, they can't push the Chiefs to compete for the AFC West. And then if they do win the West, what happens beyond there? It could be anyone's guess. They can make a run. So I think 12-5 distinctly is within reason, Deanna. Thank you again so much.
Scott and I were talking about this in the green room before we went live, but the Chiefs have won the division now 9 years, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 9 years in a row. Every season since Peyton Manning hung up his cleats. It's time for that reign to end. Guys, lots more to get to tonight relative to the schedule. But first thing is first, guys, spring. It's in full bloom on DraftKings Casino. New offers and 2 promos are sprouting up daily. Right now, new players can play $5 on anything and get 350 casino spins instantly on a featured slot game. Download the app and sign up with our code MileHighPod. Take that featured slot for a spin and explore thousands of others in the DraftKings game library.
That's right. Check back daily to claim the hottest offers and promos on DraftKings Casino, and don't forget our code MileHighPod. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. 21 plus. Physically present in Michigan, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, West Virginia only. Void in Connecticut and Ontario. Eligibility restrictions apply. New customers only. Non-withdrawable casino spins valid for featured game only and expire in 168 hours. See terms at casino.draftkings.com/promos. Ends June 15th, 2025 at 11:59 p.m. Eastern.
All right, guys, back to the conversation. George Fox jumping in to say, I think 11-6 if all goes well. Broncos for life, MHH for life. Hit the thumbs up, guys. All right, Zach, let's do this real quick. On that note, for fun, this isn't. Oh, Gene, what's up, dude? Good to see you at work, so I can't hang, but wanted to say what's up. Hope y'all's night is good. Right back at you, big dog. Have a good night of work, my friend. Let me get that code off the screen. Easy peasy. All right. This is not either of us planting our flag on an official prediction. I just want off the top of your head, first impulse type thing. Titans week 1 at home, win or a loss?
Win.
Colts on the road week 2, win or loss?
Win.
On the road again, back-to-back weeks against the Chargers.
I think they're going to split, so I'll say loss here.
All right, so we're at 2-1 going into week 4, Monday Night Football at home, Joe Burrow and the Bengals. What do you got?
I think the Broncos get their revenge from last season. They don't let this game slip away. It's a W right here.
Okay, we're sitting at 3-1, as Zach was touching on earlier, like not outside the bounds of the plausible for the first quarter. Now we go into Q2, which with a kind of a brutal road stretch, not only that it's 2 games, but East Coast and then way east, beyond the East Coast. Eagles, Zach, on the road week 5.
Yeah, that's a tough opponent for. I'm going to say loss, chat, just to keep it kind of realistic.
Same. Jets in London.
London's the equalizer, but the Broncos were there against the Jaguars. The Broncos did beat the Jets last season, so I'll say W here.
So that would bring it to 4-2. Then we come back home to face the Giants.
Russell Wilson or Jackson Dart? I mean, how do you not win this game? I'm going to say W.
All right, 5-2, and then the Cowboys come, so back-to-back home games.
Oh, man. I think they're going to split between this and the Texans game, but I'll say they beat Dak and company out there.
All right. So what are we at? 6 wins. I almost lost track here. 6-2. Texans on the road, which the last time the Broncos faced them, albeit wasn't that Russ? Yeah, it was the Russ year. That was a kind of a tough loss. What do you got?
I think the Texans are going to have a rebound type season with CJ Stroud. So like I said, I think the Broncos will split between the Cowboys and Texans. I'm gonna go a loss for this game.
So what are we at? 6-3. All right. Then on the road, back-to-back divisional games. Raiders, Zach, sorry, not on the road. I misread the little icon. Home, back-to-back. Raiders, what do you got? Week 10.
Swept him last year. Geno Smith doesn't scare me. Ashton Genty kind of does, but I think the Broncos will handle him, so W.
All right, sitting at 7-3. Then you got the Chiefs at home.
Yeah, I think the Broncos will split with them too. I would like to have the Christmas victory over them in their house, so I'll say they lose this game.
All right, so 7-4. Then the bye, licking of the wounds at 7-4. Broncos go on the road against Jaden Daniels and the Commanders.
Yeah, they're going to go on a run here, I think, Chad. They're going to shock the world. No one's going to pick him in this game, although it could be the game of the year, Jaden versus Bo under the primetime lights. I say the Broncos upset them. W.
Okay. 8 wins, 4 losses, and then on the road again in Vegas. What do you got?
Break the brooms out, baby. 2 years in a row. W.
All right, that's 9 wins, 4 losses. Then you come home for a tough Green Bay team.
Oh, man. I think they pull this one out, Chad. W.
If so, your Denver Broncos would be staring at a 10-win season already with 3 games left to go. They're hosting the next game is the Jags. What do you got?
Win.
There's win number 11. Then the Christmas Day short week, Zach.
Win.
All right. That's 12. And then
Yeah.
home against the Chargers.
I don't know if I picked them to win or lose the first game. If I did, oh well. I think they're going to lose
That's
this
the
one.
one you
So
picked. That's the one you picked a loss in the first frame.
I won't to keep it consistent. I'll maybe the Chargers sweep the Broncos again. I'll say loss here, 12-5 final.
There you go. So that's kind of fun. Now, this is just initial impulse, kind of having fun with it. We'll make our official predictions on the season. I don't know, closer to training camp, but I feel really good about
Yeah.
10 wins as a floor. I really do. This is
Agreed.
just a different team now. Phil, good evening, Chad, Zach, and Deacon Scott. 15th toughest schedule. I'm good with that. Going to go undefeated at home for the 7th time in history, finishing 13-4, winning the West. Hashtag Buckham, MHH for life, Broncos for life. Yeah, dude, that would be awesome. That would be awesome. I'm trying to recall off the top of my head what the home schedule was last year, or home record was. I'm trying to remember. Hold on. So, no, I want 2024, y'all. 2024. So, home schedule, let's see. I'm just going to ask Google. Hold on. Home record in 2024 Broncos. Let's see. I need a reminder. No. All right. 6-2. They're 6-2. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. But Phil's saying undefeated, and it's 9 home games this year. So, yeah. The question is, let me see what Mr. Producer's saying here. I'm not sure the context of that, how long it's been sitting there, because I've been focused on the screen. So, hold on, it's coming back to me. Oh, the 2 home losses last year, were the Steelers and the Chargers. Man, it's really weird, Zach, how relatively non-competitive both those Charger games were last year. Like, I mean, yeah, you get down to the fourth quarter and they made it like a game of it. But when a game is a couple of scores margin, entering the fourth quarter, it's not really been that competitive. So hopefully they turn that ship around. The Rock saying, God bless Bo Nix shirt. I'm wearing it right now. That's sick, dude. Post it on X so we can see what that bad boy looks like. That's really cool, big dog. But yeah, Zach, the rumors are purportedly Sean Payton and the Broncos are stoked with how, I mean, they've known who their opponents were going to be for months, right? But they're stoked at how the schedule ultimately shook out.
Yeah, I think the Broncos, to the last point, the comment that we read, they have a distinct home field advantage now. They're not irrelevant. They're not pushovers. Teams are going to fear coming into Empower Field at Mile High, Chad, and the noise, the thin air atmosphere, and also the team that they're facing. And that's why I feel sorry in a way for Cam Ward, number 1 overall pick, rookie quarterback, playing on a rebuilding team. What's his first matchup? Welcome to the NFL. Here's the elite Denver Broncos league-leading sack unit. Good luck.
I know, dude. Not only that, but I mean, they're returning all those guys that stacked all those sacks last year to a man. They're all back in the house. And, not only did you have the 63 sacks, but you finished top 10 both in yards and scoring, which is pretty crazy because they gave up a lot of points in yards down the stretch when Riley Moss went out. And even when Riley Moss came back against the Bengals, that game, I mean, how many millions of yards did Burrow have and like 4 touchdowns? I mean, it did go to overtime, but so even with those, my point is, Zach, even with those foibles of how the defense kind of took a step back when Moss went down, they still finished top 10 scoring and yards, which goes to show you how legit they were when the unit was as it was envisioned to be in terms of the personnel. Rock bringing up the 2014 was the last time the Broncos went undefeated at home, which was the Sheriff's second to last season.
And what's scary about the Broncos defense, Chad, is they got so much better over the course of the offseason. They were so good last season. They got even better with Greenlaw, Hufanga, of course, Jade Barron, and wow, Deanna, thank you so much.
Indeed, she took the words right out of your mouth, as she is wont to do. She leaves us stunned at times, right? Like, yeah. Lady D, 2 very generous super chats tonight. Much love, my friend. Thank you so much. She says, hey, Chad, Zach, and Scott, hit the like and subscribe and share button. A good schedule overall. Hopefully they pay Zach Allen and Nick Bonito. Home games are looking great for us this year. Bo Nix is going to be on fire this season. Definitely coming to the meet and greet. Hashtag MHH for life.
Awesome.
So yeah, we'll. I was telling everybody, Zach, at the top of the show that we'll have a more definitive date we can talk about Sunday night.
Yeah.
For the record, does it make a difference to you? Let's just publicly talk about it for a second in terms of your schedule. Because here's the thing: when you look, let me bring it back up. I was just telling this to everybody. I don't know what it is. I don't really want to do a first game. One sec, Lady D. I don't want to do the first week. I don't want the meet and greet to be week one. I want the week one to be about week one and being about that game. And then you've got 2 straight road games. And then your next home game, Zach, is a Monday night game where I don't want people traveling from all over the world, literally, and across the fruited plain, and then possibly having to take 2 days off of work to try and make it to the meet and greet. That would suck. So then your next option for us is either week 7 Giants, week 8 Cowboys, which puts you into deep October. I'm not afraid of it too much. What do you think?
I'm good with any of these dates. I know we have a private MHH group chat, and some people's schedules are not aligning with everyone else's. But the Giants would be interesting, Chad. We tried it last year with the Steelers, the Russ revenge game. He didn't end up playing. He might not end up starting this one with Jackson Dart there now. So I'm cool with that. I'm cool with the Cowboys. That would be a pretty premier matchup. The last time the Broncos played them, it was successful in Dallas. So I'm good with any of them.
Yeah, that's true. I wasn't really thinking about that front of brain, that the revenge aspect of Russ week 7, and it's a little bit earlier in October. So we'll see, guys, but you can kind of see where our brain's at. So it's probably looking like 7 or 8. So just kind of, and then again, Sunday we'll talk about a solidified date. We're still comparing schedules and whatnot, travel plans and whatnot with the staff. So we'll be getting back to you on that.
Do the meet and greet in London, Sam Bam says.
Dude, Scott did
crazy.
that once, basically, like to a degree. When Scott went on the last London game, the whole knee high thing, Jaguars, whatever it was. Yeah. Scott went out there and met with a few of the MHH community members from Europe, and we had a little video that's still up on MHH YouTube, a little clip up of him talking to different Broncos fans and MHHers. So, yeah, I don't know, man. Besides, that's an away game. We have friends, and then also a lot of you and fans are like, well, why don't you do them at some away games? Well, it's just, I don't know. It's already kind of a big to do and a big expense to make it happen. And it just makes more sense, Zach, for it to be at home in the team culture and the city and all that stuff. It's just more fun, and you don't have to deal with like obnoxious away team. Like if you're in their house, you have to maybe deal with some stuff that I would rather not deal with when you're trying to be host and have fun and meet people and have it be open and fun. So that's kind of the logic there, Sam. I know you're kind of tongue in cheek on that, but maybe someday, dude.
Plus, like you mentioned the other day, Chad, with the state of flying nowadays, the idea of a transatlantic flight to London doesn't seem all that tempting, quite honestly.
No, not really. Scott says, when the Broncos come to Atlanta, feels like a home game in Atlanta. There are a surprising number of Broncos fans in Georgia. I don't know what that's about. Like the famous line, right? Broncos country isn't a geographic location, it's a state of being. That being said, for obvious reasons, you have a big swath of Broncos country throughout the Rocky Mountain region. So you're talking Wyoming, Montana, Idaho, Utah, and then going east as well. Those first couple of states from Kansas, Iowa, like Nick, for example, from Iowa and all that, right? The Dakotas have a lot of Broncos fans, etc. Even New Mexico and parts of Nevada, because for so many years, that's what the local broadcast was. Well, they'd get the Bronco games. Same with Salt Lake City and Boise and different parts of Wyoming, etc. But Georgia never got any Bronco games, dude, on TV other than the nationally televised. They're getting their regional games. So it's kind of ironic, Zach, how many people we know, both from the superstar community, even people on staff couple of people, Georgians.
Yeah, a lot of Hawaiian Broncos fans as well from the community chat. It surprised me. I know
Yeah,
they're further west, but like, yeah, we've know personally 3 or 4 people, good friends of ours we consider, that are out there in Hawaii. So they're everywhere. Broncos fans really at your state of being. You're right.
that's true, dude. I could think of probably just off the top of my head without really thinking about it, at least a half dozen primary like people from the community from Hawaii. So Taylor, what's up, dude? Thank you for the super chat. It says
Thank you,
I'm
Taylor.
predicting 14-3 or 13-4, basically like Zach's prediction, but with us sweeping LA or splitting. We can't allow LA to go on a streak like KC and Vegas did. Yeah, KC's went 16 games. The Raiders streak, inexplicably, Zach, went 8 games. And Chucky was the primary culprit in that. Like, that was mainly him for the majority of those 8 straight losses to the Raiders. But Bo Nix finally snapped it. Even Sean Payton couldn't do it on his own without Bo Nix in 2023 with Russell Wilson, Zach. But thank goodness that streak came to an end. But yes, can't let Harbaugh and Herbert get a stranglehold on the Broncos.
Yeah, that's the problem with kind of being put on the spot and doing this the prediction live, is that I try to just shoehorn it so I came out to 12-5 because that's what I think the Broncos are going to finish at. They very well could split with LA, and I think when I predicted the first game, I said they're going to split. So that's more my fault. I do think the Broncos, Taylor, will end up taking one at least from Harbaugh and company.
Victor, what is up again, brother? Thank you. Number 2 saying, I'm originally from New Mexico before moving to KC. It's how I became a fan as a kid. It was always Denver. So you probably got a lot of that local programming. Like when you woke up on a Sunday morning, turn on the game at 11 or whatever time, 10 a.m., depending on, I don't know exactly how New Mexico does the stuff, but either way, it was probably Bronco games, or it's probably more like the 2 p.m., 1 p.m., whatever time it is for you there. Right? For the Broncos, you're not having to, this is predating, of course, streaming and the ticket and all that stuff. Like you just turn on your TV, go to channel 2. In the local markets, channel 2 or channel whatever in Utah, I don't remember what it is, but either way, CBS, whatever your CBS sports was. And then, if you go back far enough, Fox had AFC for a long time, etc. But anyway, Victor, very cool, big dog. Appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you, Victor. And again, it just proves that it's why we have the expression, Chad. It's a state of being. Broncos country is everywhere. Best fan base in the entire world.
No doubt about it. Phil saying Raiders. So I got to remind myself where the Raiders, the first one. So that's all the way into early November. Phil saying, where to go? I saw it a second ago. Meet and greet against those stinking Raiders. So that would put us in November. And look, dude, if I didn't have to try and keep in mind that people are traveling from all over the place to not only come to the meet and greet, but then go to the game, want it to be as favorable as possible. Like, 2015, we did more of like a friendly meet and greet. It was year 2 of MHH, way back in the day, Scout Media days, Scott. And those same guys that are so helpful while we're there, close friends, Ray, Pat, Andrew, those guys, if you've been to the meet and greet, you know who I'm talking about. But my dad, my brother, and I, we went out for that, and it was a Sunday night game. It was going to be great. Then all of a sudden, week of, it starts getting real cold. And then by the time the game rolled around, Zach, it was blizzard. It was like 18 degrees, 13 degrees, something like that. There was no way you're tailgating in that, especially for a night game, because, so ended up hanging at a local tavern just across the parking lot or the tailgate sector. And I imagine myself going, man, if I'm trying to host a meet and greet and we get hit with that, because right now, Sunday night, we'll start talking about the date, right? And people will start making plans and buying tickets, both game tickets and flights. Man, it would suck if you get to the day of the meet and greet and the weather is so unfavorable that, so that's why I think the way I'm thinking, Zach, about trying to do it as early in the season. But this year, it's not that fortuitous in terms of trying to get it done in September. It's looking like early October to mid-October.
Yeah, speaking for myself anyway, Chad, you're barking up the wrong tree talking to me, because I'd rather it be closer to 50 degrees than 80 degrees. It was pretty warm last year's meet and greet, which was week 2. But it's like, you're right. We have to accommodate everyone, staff, fans, everyone that's going to come and be part of it. So we'll get it figured out. I think 7 or 8 though is the sweet spot there.
Indeed. Okay, guys, tonight, because we started so late, we're going to keep it pretty tight. So we'll call this the 2-minute warning. Pro 16 all the way to Thailand. Chad, yeah, dude, that's awesome, brother. That is so cool. Hashtag state of being, baby. Clayton, let's see what Clayton, a longtime supporter, he says, man, I'm absolutely 100% jacked for this season. More weapons on offense and lights out defense, young and hungry. 12 to 14 win season. Let's go. Yeah, dude, it's really difficult now. And it's crazy how the times they have a change, Zach, because a year ago, you and I, we were never as myopic about, oh, this position worst in the NFL, the worst skill position. We kind of scoffed at that in the first place, but we were also savvy enough to understand that there was, outside of Sutton, the Broncos didn't have really anything proven at the skill positions, and Javonte still wasn't the same guy that we remembered pre-injury. But the one thing, if you guys recall, that I kept saying last year is, if Bo Nix is who we think he is, these guys around him are going to be made to look a lot better than how they're perceived currently. And that's exactly what happened. It took a little time getting going, right? Bo Nix was a little jittery those first few starts, including, you had a little bit of a reprieve in the week 3 Tampa game, but all the way through week 4 in the rain, 60 yards passing. Coming out of that, Zach, he turned a corner, wins Offensive Rookie of the Month of October, and all of a sudden, people are stoked on Devon Bailey. They're stoked on Marvin Mims, whose breakout came a little bit later. But now you look at the skill positions and you go, hey, man, if RJ Harvey is who we think he is, this is a legit weapon arsenal, let's say, especially when you remember Evan Ingram's in the house now.
Absolutely. Yeah. They were a running back away from really being a high octane competitive offense, Chad. And they got that running back in RJ Harvey. And also the incumbents that Sean Payton's high on as well. Audric Estime, Jaleel McLaughlin, Blake Watson, Tyler Bidet. You mentioned Evan Ingram at tight end. If they can do what they did last year, Bo Nix can put up record-setting numbers with the supporting cast he had. It's so, I don't know. It gets my blood pumping thinking what he's going to do this season.
Indeed. And yes, some famous Broncos were Georgia Bulldogs. The Ronk, great show tonight, Chad and Zach on the Mile High Huddle podcast. Go Bull Broncos. Thank you, buddy. We're going to take one last look at the chat, so don't leave quite yet, but we got a few messages for you first.
Tremendous episode, as always, of the Mile High Huddle podcast. If you're not doing so, please follow us on X at the MHH Pod. You can follow the main account at Mile High Huddle, Chad at Chad and Jensen, myself at Kelberman NFL, and Scott, our producer, at Scout Kennedy. If you guys want some merch like we're rocking each and every single podcast, check out MHHmerch.com and get you some. If you haven't done so yet, please drop us a like at Facebook.com/Mile High Huddle Pod. You can find us on Instagram at Mile_High_Huddle. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, make sure you're leaving your football priest a 5-star review for a chance to win some merch each and every single month. But if anything, y'all, please, very important as always, that you subscribe, you like, you share this video and every video you see on the MHH channel. It really helps us grow and reach more Broncos fans just like you.
And also, guys, today is another great example of why you want to make sure you're following us on X. And even if you're not an X guy or gal, make sure on YouTube every once in a while you check the community section, the posts, because we share articles there, yes, but any kind of special announcement relative to show planning or delays or anything, we're always going to drop in the community first, and we're going to tweet about it on X. Facebook, it's a little bit harder for us to post because of their algorithm, but still, you want to make sure you're following us on X, because as soon as we know there's anything unique or novel about a show like tonight being an hour later than we normally go, we post it on X, and then we post it on the YouTube community chat. So check those two spots. A Mile High salute, a special shout out to the great Super Chat superstars and supporters tonight, helping us keep the lights on, like the Lady D going big from the top rope multiple times. Let's see, the Papa Bear, Sam Bam, George Fox, Gene William, Phil McLaughlin, The Ronk, Taylor Christensen, Victor Espinoza twice. Thank you guys so much. I hope we didn't miss anybody. I don't think we did. Yeah, we got Sam Bam, we got Papa Bear, Victor. Okay, I think we got it. Benji Clay, and Naj, of course. Naj Altaf. Yeah. So much love and respect, you guys. We will, Zach and I, be back Sunday. And we hope by then, not hope, we expect by then to have the date for the meet and greet ironed out. And we'll announce, and we can all start kind of planning our get together. It'll be a gas.
Yes, sir. Looking forward to it. Have a great rest of your Thursday. Great start to your weekend. We'll see you Sunday night. Take care. And as always, go Broncos.